Today is a very special day. I have two founders in the chairs that I admire so much. I have Daniel and Michael here from Coldture. Honestly, leading up to today, I pinched myself a couple times thinking, how did we get here? How did I get these two incredible business owners in my chairs? This is how business unwinds, and you're going to find out today exactly the resilience and the strength it took for these gentlemen to get where they are today. I want to start from the beginning with you guys. Like, how do you guys know each other?
That's a great question. Well, Dan's been a family friend for a very long time. So he played hockey with my older brother, Daniel.
Nice.
For a long time together.
Yeah, over like 15 years
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, so obviously I'm much younger. I'm 24. He's 31, so
32.
People ask that question. Oh, 32.
Just turned 32.
Yeah, people ask that question a lot. So yeah, he played hockey, and then it came to a point where we were kind of both aligned without knowing each other. Like knowing that we were both thinking of, hey, let's get a cold punch company out there around 3 years ago. And then our brothers, my other brother Aaron, who we didn't play hockey with, kind of made that connection, being like, hey, like you guys are both thinking of the same thing at the same time. Why don't you guys connect?
That's wonderful.
And that's kind of how it happened. Yeah.
I love that so much. So what inspired you to get into this type of business?
Yeah, so it started back when I had a knee injury, and I couldn't be myself. It was during COVID, and the doctors told me that I needed to go for a 2-year waiting list. So I started to do just ice baths in my bath, just fill it up, fill cold water. Felt the incredible benefits, and continued to do it. Got addicted to just like the feeling, and yeah, that's how it all started.
How did you know about ice baths? Like, why would you think to do that?
So it's been in my family. I'm Russian. We've been doing it with my father for many years, since I was 10. He doesn't live with us anymore, but yeah, some of the fondest memories were going to the banya on the weekends and doing like hot and cold contrast therapy. And yeah, so it was always around. Plus with hockey, during tournaments, we would do ice baths, and it was something it wasn't as intentional as what we do today. So it's really nice to kind of like do a full circle and really focus in on the cold these days, and just like feel the benefits and continuously. Wow, this chair is really kicking my ass. But yeah, go ahead.
With cold plunging.
Mine was very similar. Both grew up in hockey families, also like mom of 5 boys. Everyone's like super competitive. So when you see your older brother doing it as a younger brother, like, oh, kind of want to do that as well. So that inspiration kind of guided me through that when I was younger. But what really got me into it was I was very big into like breath work and other healing modalities that I've practiced myself at a young age when I was 18. So I kind of got introduced to it young, not intentionally. Again, through max pain, like Dan, max pain injury, has to get surgery on both his knees, can't do what he loves. Me going through lots of challenges internally. So when it comes to a point where you hit max pain, there's nowhere else to go. You're either going up from here. So the ice bath was a good tool for me to help really get into the mode of like feeling with myself and processing what I got to process. So ice bath really played a good tool in my life, as towards him, right? Physical, mental, emotional. There's different avenues of max pain, and mine was emotional. And ice bath was really a catapult to help me see the light in that.
I love that. And I actually love how Coldture is making it so that it's accessible to everyone. And you don't have to get to that max pain, rock bottom to experience it. You could do this to improve your life significantly, and not just wait for that special occasion or experience. Having it in your home, having the water always clean, always cold, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are the first to do it, or the only ones to do it, because I haven't seen too much on the market, and I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, so sticking to kind of like where you guys started, I have to ask this because I'm a huge fan of Dragon's Den, of the show. I mean, probably every entrepreneur, every Canadian entrepreneur watches the show, aspiring entrepreneur as well. But what was your mindset going into that? Like, how did you feel the day leading up to it, the week leading up, and then right about when you're walking out, what was going through your mind? I need to know.
Those are a couple good questions in one. How did we feel walking into Dragon's Den? It was a thrill. It was like how I would like to relate it is like when you have that big moment that you've been prepping for so long, 4, 5, 6 months, and then that moment comes and you're like, oh my God, it's finally here. It's time to like show up with everything that you practiced for the last 4, 5, 6 months. So like that feeling of like nervousness and excitement of like sweating from your armpits uncontrollably because you're so excited because you prepped and worked so long for it. And when you get out there, and for us it was like once like Dan started it off, he was like hey, my name is Dan and my name is Mike, we're from Coldture asking for X amount of dollars, and then his script of the part was first. And when I heard him crush it, and just in my head I was like, okay, this is easy peasy. This was it, we got each other. So it's like I can't imagine doing it alone out there. I think having each other was really nice to be able to lean on each other at times, and that created that confidence to perform and say what we prepared for and talk about our business that we love and we know like the back of my hand. So it's our baby. It's like you're talking about your baby, you know, when you talk about your kids, you pump them up like you pump anyone out, like you don't pump anyone more up than that. So it was kind of natural when it came down to that. So
I find it very interesting that you said excited instead of nervous, because speaking about kids, I always tell my kids that there's nothing to be nervous about. You should be excited because it's the same feeling, it's the same energy. So I love that you said that right away. You said, you know, you're so excited, and it's very interesting, your partnership and how you have known each other for a long time, and I feel there's just pride working with each other here. I feel there's a very strong sense of pride, and the way you mentioned, you know, hearing him crush it made you just say, okay, let's do this. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Is there any specific traits that each of you have that the others don't possess?
Honestly, I think even back to that point of like excitement and nervousness, because I think it plays into here, is excitement is you're nervous for something because it matters so much to you, and when it matters so much to you, you get nervous about it. I don't want to mess it up. Maybe I'm not capable enough. But when you translate that, it's exactly the same thing of excitement and nervousness. It's because you care so much about it, and it's nice to care about things that you really want to like be good at. So like when it goes to that part of like what I see in him versus like maybe what I don't have is Dan's like when he sees something, he goes like straight for it and nothing's gonna get in the way of it. And it's a really powerful trait to have, because a lot of things when you're en route to getting that thing done, like you said, some people back out, some people are don't believe they're capable enough, or they hint out because maybe the pain is too big. When it comes to this guy is his pain tolerance is really, really big. So when it comes down to like going after things that are uncomfortable and difficult, he goes head on. So it's really powerful, especially when starting a business. It's not easy because you're putting down a lot of capital, you're putting yourself out there in a massive way, and sometimes half the time I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. But that will to figure it out, learn, do it, make it happen is honestly probably the strongest trait, which is resilience, right?
100%.
So, no, I think our journey was so special. Like during Dragon's Den, we were going through like some crazy stuff in the business. Like it was also like we had a small team at the time. I think it was like 4 or 5 like core members, and like we were doing everything like wearing all kinds of hats, all at the same time as getting ready for prepping hours and hours for the shoot. And yeah, it's just I think just bringing it back to kind of the question of the feelings and jumping on the show was yeah, like just that support. I remember also like I was like forgetting my lines. I was like freaking out, kind of like stressing out before. Um, and the producer was like, let's do a little run through. It was like half an hour before. Um, and then I just like blank what I'm saying. And then Mike came in and was like, you know what, you got this, bro. All good. You know the lines. We've done it like 1,000 times.
Absolutely, absolutely. And outside of this relationship, is there anyone that you guys really admire and take advice from?
Outside of us, yeah, hell yeah. My family, my mom, my brother. We have investors as well on the board that we listen to, and I don't know. I think Dan and I have always come to the point where it's like we want as many people around us that we admire, because the more people that we have us around us that we admire, the more that we see ourselves in them, and that shows us like, oh, here's what we could be. Here's that person that we want to be, and it's actually happening. And then you could lean on them for resources. You could lean on them when you need advice, when you need support, because that always happens. We don't, as founders, you're not the person who needs to know it all. You're just the person who needs to know which resource to go to for what. I don't need to be the person that knows every single mathematical equation. I just need to go to the guy who knows that mathematical equation.
Yeah.
So delegation, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's also super important to set yourself up in an environment that fosters your vision. Like if you want to be,
right.
if you want to be like selling chairs, you got to be all in that business. You have to be, obsessing about it. And you have to be around people that sell, $100 million worth of chairs.
I was literally talking
grow.
about that yesterday. It was like your environment is literally is going to play a big part in your development of who you become, right? If you're around people who drink a lot, you're probably going to be drinking, right? You might resist for like the first couple weeks, but if you're hanging out with them every single day, you're probably going to become like them. So,
Yeah.
It's cliche who you are, who you surround yourself with. It's cliche, but it's
So true.
it's literally you're a product of your environment. And anyone who thinks that they're strong enough to not be a product of their environment, then you're just a little bit oblivious to it, and you don't want to take ownership for the people that are around you.
Right. My
So-
dad always said to me, if you hang around with shit, you start to smell like it.
Literally, yeah, man.
And I was like, you know what? That's dead on right there. So yeah, like your environment, your boundaries, who you talk to about your dreams. I think
Yes.
it's very, very important to set those boundaries. I want to know like what motivates you guys to keep going, because not every day is perfect. I'm sure in every business there's challenges, but what is the driving factor here? What motivates you to keep going?
It's a great question.
It's a why question.
Yeah, and it's like, why do you do things? If your why is not strong enough, then you're not gonna continue doing it. Like we're at a point in the business where we've developed and rehearsed and talked about our why for so long that it's ingrained. There's no backing out now. We're in it. We're in it for the long run until whenever that chapter comes to an end. So we're gonna give it our all until we go, because we want it so badly and we have such a strong why. And again, me and Dan talk about this all the time. We could have started a lot of easier businesses. We could have went and sold shampoo. We could have sold. You can sell anything in today, but we just sold to sell ice baths, which is not an easy product. It's very complex. There's a lot of components to it. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And there's in the business back end of it, it's logistically a huge organizational chart that you got to really nail down systematically, and it's not easy. So why would we do a business that's extremely difficult to do? It's because we believe in the product so much, because we've developed such a great product, and the modality of it really is so powerful. It literally is changing people's lives. That's why it's trending so much, is because people feel really good. They feel alive when they come out of it. And if I get to stand behind a brand, I want to stand behind a brand that helps people feel good. So there's nothing better. And when we just, again, it's a reminder game. We keep reminding ourselves of that, and there's nothing that's stopping us. We don't quit. We just got to keep going because of that specific reason.
I love that. So like the purpose and the why here, if
Is everything.
understand
Yeah.
what you're saying is everything, and it's helping people feel better. As soon as someone experiences a cold bath, and when they have the ability to do it on their own, in their own space, in their own environment and comfort, they're not feeling horrible once they're out of the tub. They're feeling amazing. So you guys are impacting people's lives in that way. It's
Yeah.
not about selling something. It's about changing the way their life is going.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. That's kind of what keeps me in my business of self-care. I mean, it's not about skincare. It's not about massagers. It's about how do you feel. And I'm a self-care psycho. Like I literally will not sit on my couch unless I'm getting a foot massage from my foot massager. I'm nuts about it, you know, because it does nothing bad. It only does good. It only makes me better. It moves the self-development needle a little bit. And that's what I'm all about, and all about sharing. And I love that you guys have built an entire business to help people, not just yourselves. It's for the people. And to me, this is not a trend. As you mentioned, you used to do this when you were a kid. This is ancient secrets here that now you are making accessible for people to access on a daily basis, and it's wonderful.
Even to that point of like, we want to keep on helping people. We're not helping people because we see it change in others. We're helping people because we saw the change in ourselves. So I'm a firm believer. It's like, how can you support one another? How can you really help someone else if you haven't really integrated or fostered that within yourself? It's like me giving advice or support to someone that I have zero clue about. I have no experience behind it. Versus like now, it's like we're putting a product out there that has severely changed our lives in such a positive way that now when we talk about it, when we're marketing it, when we're sharing it with the people, it's coming from a genuine, authentic place, because that's where it started from. And I think that's the biggest thing when starting a business too, when you want to put it out there is at least for me, is like, it's hard for me to share something if I'm not passionate about it. If there's no like like edge to it, there's no
Chutzpah.
yeah. Exactly. You know,
And being authentic, that is something that people feel. Like you can't say, you know, I'm authentic. Like people know if you are authentic or not, and and that comes across in a big way with you guys and your company.
Yeah.
Okay, so keeping on the theme of resilience, has there been any mistakes made along the way that have taught you a valuable lesson?
Oh,
That you
tons.
can recall?
Yeah, so many in terms of like communication and like being able to work as a team, right? I think that's we've made a lot of mistakes when collaborating and working with people going towards the same goal. Is as leaders we've made mistakes in not communicating that properly, or at least for myself. And I think that comes with like, it starts with Dan and I. Is we've made mistakes with each other, and it's good that we made those mistakes with each other, because now we've able to learn that and be able to take that to the rest of our team. So all these mistakes on communication and relationship that we've made early on with each other, we've now been able to spin that and find the lesson in that, find the gift in that, and that's made us overall better leaders, better communicators, better, at least moving towards our best version of ourselves when it comes down to being in a relationship with people. Especially now, we have a team of 11 people.
Wow.
And before 3 months ago, it was just 4 people, and now we got 11 people. So thank God we went through those mistakes, because now we're taking those gifts that we learned from those mistakes into the 11 people now that we have. That we're all working towards the same goal and vision. So, yeah.
And as the team grows, like how do you keep these people on track with your goals and your vision? Like what is the what is the vibe that you guys are bringing to your team, and how do you create that culture within your business?
It's a great question. I was actually just speaking about that literally the other day, and speaking about it last night with Nick. He's a new guy. He's working with us now, and it's to bring that same passion and vision that we had to start the company.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a good example with Nick. Like, you know, he flew in from Kelowna. First thing we did was like indoctrinate him into our lifestyle right away. You know, we went, had a few, like, took him out for dinner. Then in the morning we did like a hard workout right away. Got him into that kind of like, what is it? Like
That hard mode.
that grit, yeah, that gritty kind of like mode that we're in. And then we indoctrinated him into like a really hot Russian sauna. So just so that they feel like that like instant gratification, that response from hard things essentially. And on a daily basis we remind people how, you know, we share customer reviews, customer testimonials, being like, I had like shooting back pain, and now, you know, with the cold tub I do every morning, you know, I'm not suffering with this debilitating pain. And it does bring like a sense of you know, pride and mission kind of like to everybody that works with us.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Well, congrats on your growing team. I could just see it getting bigger and bigger. That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's so good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
what are you guys most excited about this year?
We're launching 4 new products this year. We've already launched that one. We have a lot of more exciting products to come, and honestly, what I'm most excited about selfishly is seeing this team grow and unite together. Very excited to see this happen. Right now, we're in like the grunt and the as Gary Vee says it, the mud, the dirt in the trenches. Of like bringing everyone together and creating all the systems and the workflows and all that happening. So I'm super excited to see our team come together, because I truly believe we have a superstar team. We've got a super talented team. Everyone's got really good hearts. Everyone's, like, you remember you said you got energetically attracted to this? I feel like my team is that everyone got energetically attracted together, and we have such a talented team, and it's just a matter of once everyone comes together like this, then we're truly going to be unstoppable. And my product is not the ice bath. My product is the team. Yeah. So I need to make sure that this team is fully aligned on that same vision, and bringing people back into the why, sharing our stories, sharing like Dan, bringing them to his culture, like getting people like into the culture of it, you know? So really showing what that is, and from a real genuine place. And that starts with us as leaders to show them what that is. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah. On the product side, I think it's gonna be a game changer. We have a few new products coming out. We're not gonna really share too much about it just yet. Maybe we'll have to come back for another show. But yeah, it's gonna be a rock star of a year for us this year, and many years to come. So super excited for that.
Yeah. No one goes harder in the product game than us. No one goes to. This guy's gone overseas to our factory already like 3 times in the last 6 months. Like, good thing about the company is not just how you market it, but also what you market is does the product match what you're saying. So if you have a good product, then that's the biggest component to it, and that's what we're most focused on, is how can we develop the best product, because then everything else will follow that. The marketing will follow that. The word to mouth will follow that. So really, when it comes down to developing a product, we go really the extra mile.
Yeah.
To make sure that this is the one. This is we love this one. This is it. It has everything correct. Everything's made right.
Yeah, I think that's a big kind of, you know, the industry is very nascent. You know, just the whole kind of ice bath, really, infrastructure on the production side has just been kind of developed in the last few years.
Yeah, it's very new.
There's a lot of new players that are coming in. There's a lot of kind of like new brands that are coming in that are, you know, not taking the time and actually visiting and like quality controlling the product. So, this is where we really separate ourselves from the competition. Is we really take the time to look at the nuts and bolts and the finer details of our product, and continuously innovate and improve, and ensure that our customers are having the best experience. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's definitely starts with the product.
yeah.
Even go back to you were talking to my we were talking about my mom and in the Revitalize, like she's still in the sorry for my language. She's still in the factory going and making recipes because it's when you make such a good product, it's so much more fun to talk about it because you believe in it so much and you know the amount of like passion and care that's gone into it. And that's why Revitalize is that's why when we talk about it, it's like and Coldture or any of these products is because the amount of care that's put into the products. Because a lot of people now are just like, okay, how do I sell? How do I market? How do I get out there? I see dollar signs. I see dollar signs. But everyone forgets that there's no dollar signs. There's no marketing without a fucking kick-ass product. You need the best product in the market.
So true.
Right?
And there's a big and especially with our business, there's a humongous portion of it that's customer service and aftercare, and just support. And then there's this whole other side of things that are actually, how do you cold plunge? Like what's involved with that? What's good, what's not good. There's a lot of information out there on the internet, but it's very confusing. Can I do an ice bath after a workout or before a workout? So and again, we pride ourselves on having all the experts on our team. We have an incredible lead, Marie, that takes care of all that. And yeah, like it's the whole ecosystem of when you get indoctrinated into the Coldture ecosystem, the cold culture, you're really getting the product, the support, the knowledge. So as opposed to some of these other brands that are a little bit you're getting, I don't know, you're getting a little bit of a different experience with.
So funny. Literally, like our investors yesterday was telling us like, hey, you guys are doing amazing. You guys are doing really, really, really good. Sometimes when you're in the grunt of it and we're so in it, it's hard to see that. That's the truth. It's hard to get out of it. Do I say that I try and I take moments of like sitting back and reflecting? Yes. If I didn't, it would probably be a lot harder and grueling. So
yeah, I think for me it's challenging a little bit. You're always like focused. You do the Dragons Den. We had such a great, for example, like performance there, and then right after, like, okay, well, we got to get to all these orders. We got to get to all the. It's super challenging to really take in those little fine moments. But I agree that it's part of the process.
Shaky. Yeah. So I think it's a practice of self-care as well, because when you appreciate what you've done, I'm speaking from my own experience too. Is what I usually at night before I go to bed. I used to go to bed, having a lot of worries of the day, anxiety, and all the things. I've transformed that completely, and I spend a major portion of my downtime at night just reflecting on things that I'm proud of. It's very important for self-care, but what it also does is it gives me better ideas. So I reflect on what has happened and what I've done, but then somewhere in there, in a meditation or some sort of next realm, I'm thinking of the next best thing that's happening. So I just now made it a part of my daily practice is to reflect and have pride and gratitude. And, from that there's always something brewing, because when you're on to the next, the fulfillment it's never really fulfilled.
You actually totally reminded me, like, I do this practice personally. And the moment that I get that time is actually when I do my ice bath. Like, I kind of decompress. I as opposed to many people, like, I actually like to do it in the mornings. In the evenings. After a long day, it's kind of just like a little tick to close off the day, and then I would take a hot shower after. So in that case, I just like kind of control my thoughts, try to like be super present, and just either look forward or just reflect on the great things that are happening in my life right now. So, and I also do this on like I go once a week as well to like the facility, like a big sauna contrast therapy facility, and I go on like a Tuesday, which is like when it's like very dead, and I really have like the whole space to myself. And again, I usually, before it was like a big social thing, we would go with a bunch of friends, but then I started to go by myself, and I really enjoy it much more because like I just kind of have the time to myself and really reflect and just take that moment for myself.
My little sort of reset button is I've been journaling recently. I've been journaling at night, journaling in the morning. And again, like the power of reflection, it's something that I do with myself and also try to implement on the team. Like for example, like as a team, we do like a meeting at the beginning of the week, we do a meeting at the end of the week. And the end of the week meeting is really trying like, hey, let's reflect on what happened in the last week in terms of our goals. What wins do we have? Let's celebrate our wins. And then is there any challenges that we can bring up that, hey, what's something that I need support on? And being able to reflect on those things allows you to acknowledge it. And then when you acknowledge it, you actually can see, okay, like where am I gonna integrate this now? And then where is the lesson? Where is the gift in this? But if I don't acknowledge it, then like you said, you just keep on going on to the next, and you're missing the nuggets in each step of the way. So reflection is massive, and reflection can happen in every little nuanced moment. Like if I get bothered by someone, it's so funny, I was talking about this earlier today. If something in someone else bothers me, then that's probably something inside of me that I have a problem with, right? Within me. So that's a little reflection, like you can call that a reflection tool or an acknowledgement tool or an ownership tool. They're all the same things. And you can do that literally every second of the day. So I definitely do think like sitting down and having reflection has its own benefit, but I also think you can at least try your best to remind yourself and integrate it throughout the day as well. Little nuggets, like a little 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there goes a long way versus like bunching it up.
It's a huge practice on self-awareness too, right?
Correct.
And not just thinking, oh, I have all the answers, I'm always right. It's like you acknowledge the times that you're not, and the times that you grow from. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I just need to check in with you guys. How are you feeling over here?
Feeling great.
Yeah, feeling really good. I think I got a good mode on right now. Yeah, the feet. I'm feeling the feet. It's actually really nice on my feet right now. It's exactly what I needed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one final question, and this is a question more for me because this is something that I struggle with having, a family. And what is the work-life balance that you guys have? Is it right now? Are you in a stage of life where you're all business, or what's the balance that you have? Is there a balance? Because for me personally, I try to go hard and then take my foot off the brake. When I'm home, I'm all the way present, all the way home. That's just something I've been trying out recently because, as an entrepreneur, there's sometimes no off switch.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been guilty of that, and so I'm trying to be more conscious of that. So this final question is more for me. What are your tips and what is your practice there?
Yeah.
I think I can speak to that. I have a 2.5-year-old and another one on the way, and it's tough. I think there's seasons. So there's like total grind season. There's there are times in the business where you have a 2-week sprint of just like pumping out documents for the upcoming whatever launch, and all you got to do is you just work 50 hours, like whatever it is, like 80 hours a week, and spend minimal time with your family. And there's other times where you can actually be more intentional and like really dedicate a few days out of the week to spend the whole time with your family. So I really think it's dependent on what you're doing, like kind of and being intentional. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna be going all out the next 2 weeks, then make sure that you're going all out and you're compressing all that workload from the month into those 2 weeks, so that you can be a little bit more free the next couple of weeks. But yeah.
I like that. That's honestly, that's powerful advice, because I mean, that's the nice thing about having your own business, is that you get to shape it to the way you want to operate your life and live your life. And I agree with you on the seasons, because sometimes it's go time and you gotta go. But not to get lost in that is huge. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Congratulations on your growing family. That's very exciting. Do you have anything that you'd like to add in closing, just with this wonderful exchange that we've had? I'm so grateful for you guys taking time out of your day to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Something I didn't ask is, what is your, outside of cold plunging, what is your favorite self-care practice? You said journaling, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Yeah, I like journaling because it forces me to write. Yeah, sports. Yeah, we love playing sports, right?
Yeah, it's like very meditative, like hockey, tennis. Started picking up tennis recently. It's like incredible.
Yeah, doing things that give me energy.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like as a kid, like we both loved playing sports. So for me, it's a non-negotiable. I gotta play 1 to 2 times of hockey a week. I want to play basketball with my brothers. I want to go to the gym and be active. I want to do yoga. Anything where it involves in me moving my body, I really do love. But in terms of like other self-care practices, I really do enjoy meditating, and that happens a lot in the ice bath. But recently, I've been doing a lot outside of the ice bath, and it's something I was doing like 5-6 years ago. I was very heavily into breath work too, which for me, breathing is everything. Breathing literally dictates where your state's gonna be at. Breathing can help you move through certain types of emotions. Breathing can help you change perspectives. The way that you breathe is the way that you'll show up. If you're breathing very fast, then you'll probably show up very anxious. If you're breathing more in a slow, calm, deep manner, then you'll probably show up from that type of place as well. So for me, it kind of rotates. I'm kind of finding like the groove. Like we've only been doing this for 3 years. It's kind of changing all the time. At the beginning, like I didn't know what it meant to take breaks, and now I understand what it means to be able to disconnect, to go connect with my family, go connect with my friends, get out of this realm a little bit. So it's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. I'll tell you this one thing now, and probably by next year, it might have adapted. It might have evolved from there. So it's kind of like a one step at a time. Take it breath by breath. See what happens the next day.
So I'm just so blown away by this conversation. It's going to take me a little while to process everything, and I'm going to need to hear it back, because where this conversation went today, I'm truly grateful for, because being an entrepreneur, there's never a time when you stop learning, and being with people that are like-minded and share in these experiences, it's so powerful. So I'm truly grateful to have these gentlemen here today, and I see this happening again. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but the energy is here, the vibe is here, and this is a nice duo, but hey, today's a trio. I'm into it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Amazing.